If this story resonates with you, hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe. It means more than you know. I came back from the grocery store and heard her laugh before I saw her. Not the laugh she uses in public, the polished one, the one that performs warmth for an audience. This was the other one, lower, quicker, the kind that comes out when someone says something that actually landed. I heard it from the hallway, and before I'd even set the grocery bag down, something in the back of my brain logged it quietly and moved on. She cut the call the second I came around the corner. Not a sentence trailing off, not a natural end, a cut, mid-laugh, clean, and then she was standing there with her phone face down on the counter, and her expression reset to the version she uses when nothing is happening. "Who was that?" I asked. "Wrong number," she said. "They're getting chatty these days." She said it lightly, like it was a mildly funny observation, like I'd asked about the weather. I opened the fridge and put the milk away. "Chatty wrong numbers," I said. "Okay," she smiled at that. Precise, easy. She was good at that. The smile that says everything is fine and you're the one being strange for wondering. I'd seen it enough times by then that I knew what it cost her. Nothing. That was the tell. A smile that costs nothing is a smile that means nothing. Her name was Vanessa. We'd been married 5 years. And somewhere in the past several months, I couldn't give you a specific date, couldn't point to the Tuesday it shifted. The warmth had moved out of our house and left the furniture in place. She was still there. She was just no longer present. Plates got set, dinners got made, conversation got had. But it was all surface, all managed, all slightly too smooth. Like a road that's been paved over a problem instead of the problem being fixed. I told myself I was tired. I told myself we were both just busy. I told myself a lot of things you tell yourself when you don't want to know the answer. The next evening, she left her phone on the coffee table when she went to switch the laundry. I wasn't looking. That's the part one keep returning to. I wasn't looking. I was sitting on the other end of the couch, watching nothing in particular, when the screen lit up with a banner notification. One line of preview text. Enough. The name was Derek Orris. I knew Derek. We'd been to his house. We'd stood at his backyard grill and talked about nothing important over cheap beer. He was married to Sophie, Vanessa's closest friend since her early 20s. Solid marriage. 2 kids. The kind of couple you'd never think twice about. I set my glass down. When Vanessa came back, I nodded toward the phone. Derek texting? She didn't miss a step, picked it up, face down first, then turned it over. Yeah, asking what to get Sophie for her birthday. He's useless at gifts. Sophie's birthday, I said. November. I looked at the calendar on the wall. It was May. Getting a head start, she said, and poured herself sparkling water like she was tending bar, smooth and automatic. Relax. I'm relaxed, I said. I'm just not confused. She laughed softly at that, like I'd made a small, harmless joke, and picked up the remote and switched to a renovation show where everyone is cheerful and nothing is broken in a way that matters. I sat there. I didn't move for a long time. When a person manages everything perfectly except the distance between you, that's not being busy, that's being careful. And people are only that careful when they have something to protect. The next morning I made changes. Not dramatic ones. I don't do dramatic. I adjusted the autopay on the joint account down to fixed essentials. I split the discretionary spending. I blocked out my evenings for the week. Gym, the job site, dinner with a guy from work, a fishing trip I'd been putting off for years. I put the schedule on the fridge with a magnet, plain and readable. Vanessa saw it when she grabbed her coffee. "Busy week," she said. "Productive week," I replied, lacing my boots. "I'll be home around 9 most nights. Don't wait up." She studied me for a second. "Not long, just enough. We should do a date night. Friday." "Fliso." "Text me Friday," I said. "If I'm clear, I'll let you know." She blinked. The version of me who waited for things was gone, and she was just now noticing the vacancy. "You'll let me know," she repeated. "That's what calendars are for." I called a PI that afternoon. His name was Marcus, referral from a client, used to do background work for a bank before going private. I told him I needed time-stamped documentation. Locations, not theories. He asked for a week. I gave him 3 days and a deposit. My coworker Nate caught my face when we were loading a pickup at the shop. "You look like you swallowed something sharp," he said, "just reorganizing my week." "Sure, that's all it is?" "Exactly my point," I said, and he let it go. That's why I keep him around. That same afternoon, Vanessa showed up at the shop with a deli bag and a smile I hadn't seen in a month. She set it on my drafting table like she had all the time in the world. "I was nearby," she said. "Figured you could use a real lunch." I opened the bag. The exact sandwich, the exact chips, a handwritten note folded at the bottom. "Sorry I've been off. Can we reset?" "Dinner Friday, my pick." "Not the worst idea," I said, keeping my voice flat. Her eyes softened. "I miss us, Ethan." "Then show up," I said. "I'll see you Friday if the day holds." Friday morning, she texted sweet and careful. By noon, she canceled. A friend needed her. Coffee ran long. Rain check. I wrote back 3 words, "Not raining here," and turned off my phone. Saturday, I left early with a rod and a thermos and thought about nothing useful. When I came back, she'd lit candles and made a real dinner and was standing in the kitchen with an easy smile and her chin up. "Truce," she said. "For what war?" I asked. "Don't be dramatic. I just think we should reset." I took the plate and sat down. "Behavior resets. Words are free." She nodded like she'd scored something. The next morning, the distance came back on schedule, smooth and practiced, right where she'd left it. Marcus called Monday. "Got overlaps in her movement that don't reconcile," he said. "Sending a preview now, full package tomorrow." "How bad?" I said. "I send locations and times," he told me. "I don't grade." The preview was dry and ugly and exact. Lunch in the Arts District, 2 hours. Time unaccounted for at a motel near a contractor's lot, the kind of place that doesn't ask questions. A wine bar entry photograph, partial frame, a man's jawline and the shoulder of a jacket I recognized from a Sunday at Derek and Sophie's house 2 summers ago. Plenty of men dress like that. Only one of them had texted my wife about a birthday gift 6 months early. I didn't sleep. I made coffee at 2 in the morning and walked through the house like a man reading a blueprint he'd been handed too late. I checked the joint account limits, photographed the titles, moved my tools from the hall closet to the truck, booked a lawyer for first light. By sunrise, I didn't want a conversation. I wanted filings. The full report arrived at 10:24 the next morning. Clean PDF, timestamps and captions and a folder of photographs. Vanessa and Derek leaving a motel through separate doors 2 minutes apart, then converging on the same side of the parking lot, a diner booth in Midtown, his hand flat over hers on the table, both of them smiling the way people smile when they've temporarily forgotten they have another life waiting. A park bench, her head against his shoulder, his face close to her hair, not a kiss, but intimate enough that the exact label didn't change what it was. I zoomed in. I zoomed out. I closed the laptop and stared at the wall. Nate came over with a parts list and stopped when he saw me. "Well," I said, "it's enough." He looked like he wanted to say sorry. He knew I wouldn't take it. "What's the move?" "Paperwork," I said, "and logistics." I signed what needed signing by noon. Moved the last of my personal documents to a safe deposit box. Called the insurance agent. Reduced the joint card access to the essentials, mortgage, utilities. Took back the secondary line on the truck, clean. Not loud, just done. Then I sent Vanessa one text. "We need to talk tonight." She replied 30 minutes later. "Seeing a friend. Coffee, home late. We'll talk tomorrow, promise." I stared at that line until the screen went dark. Recuerda que en la descripción y en el mensaje fijado tienes todos nuestros suplementos desde fitness hasta health en todos los sentidos. Then Primera texted Sophie. "We weren't close, cordial, the way you are with your spouse's best friend." She responds fast. 2 kids, runs her week by the calendar. Is Vanessa with you right now? I sent. Sophie, no. Home making dinner. Why? I sent her the photographs. No commentary, no explanation, just the images. The typing bubble appeared, stopped, appeared again, then a single line. That's my husband, yes. Sophie, are you sure this is recent? From this week and last. Report came in this morning. Silence for a full minute. Then, I'm going to call him. Before you do, I wrote it slowly, feeling the cold settle in my hands. I already filed today. I need you to know I'm done. Another message lit up from Vanessa at that exact moment. Coffee's going well. Don't wait up. We'll talk tomorrow. Promise. I looked at that message for a long moment. Then I wrote back to her, asked him if his wife liked the new photos. What happened next was 12 messages in 11 minutes. First came confusion. What are you talking about? Then the pivot. You're overreacting. Then the escalation. Why would you contact Sophie? She was typing too fast. She wasn't thinking straight. Then the demand. What did you send her? Then the threat. Do not do anything stupid. I'm on my way home. I put the phone face down and cleaned the kitchen. Not dramatically. I just didn't want to leave her any disorder to use as cover. She came through the door 30 minutes later without her coat, hair pulled back, face arranged into an outrage she hadn't quite earned. What is wrong with you? The bag hit the counter. Why would you send those pictures to Sophie? Do you have any idea what you just did? Ended the confusion, I said. You're welcome. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I gestured to the table. Sit. I'm not a child. Then don't make me repeat myself. She sat, her fingers knotted into a fist, then smoothed out, like she remembered she was supposed to be composed. You don't have the context, she said. I have the location, the dates, the timestamps, and your smile in a diner booth with his hand on yours. I have the fact that you didn't tell me. I have the fact that you chose secrecy over everything else. Her jaw tightened. We were just talking. It wasn't, don't. I cut it flat. Complicated is the word people use when the honest version is something they can't say out loud. You're being cruel. I'm being precise. I pulled the chair out and sat across from her. I filed this morning. The joint accounts are reduced to essentials. You'll get the full outline by email from my lawyer. Her eyes locked onto mine. You what? It's done, Vanessa. The paperwork is in motion. You can't just... I can, and I did. She stared at me. Something shifted in her face, the performance cracking underneath the pressure of something she hadn't expected. She'd prepared for a fight. What she got was a wall. The doorbell rang. Vanessa went still. Who is that? She said. Not a question. Sophie. She went pale. Sophie stepped in with her keys in her hand and her eyes steady. Not bright with emotion, not performing anything, just clear. She didn't look at me. She looked at Vanessa the way you look at someone when you've already made a decision and you just need one last thing confirmed. One question, Sophie said. Her voice was even. If you lie, I leave, and it ends in a way you won't like. Were you with my husband? Vanessa's mouth opened. We're friends, that's all. Sophie lifted her phone. The photographs were on the screen. She didn't explain them, she just held them up. This is what people do in the spaces they think no one can see, Sophie said. This is what you did with what I trusted you with. Vanessa looked at me. Ethan, say something. I already did, I said. That's why she's here. Sophie put her phone away. I told Derek to be out by morning. He asked where he should go. A short exhale through the nose. I told him adults arrange their own logistics without asking the person they betrayed to draw the map. Vanessa found her voice then, the one that runs toward anger when everything else fails. You don't get to shut me out like I'm the only one responsible. Derek did his part, Sophie said, flat and final. You did yours. I'm handling mine. Ethan's handling his. You don't come to my house again. Vanessa turned back to me. The anger shifted, softer now, pointed directly at the thing she thought still might work. Ethan, please, we can fix this. Counseling, whatever you want. I'll change phones, change everything. I'll cut all contact. You already changed everything, I said. I'm not in this anymore. She stepped toward me. I stepped back. Space means space, I said. Pack a bag. You're staying somewhere else tonight. This is my house too. Which is why I'm not changing the locks. You're leaving tonight. Tomorrow we coordinate the division like adults. She looked between me and Sophie. Her last option was a jury that wasn't there. You're both overreacting, she said. Sophie put her keys in her pocket. Take that somewhere else. Recuerda que en la descripción y en el mensaje fijado tienes todos nuestros suplementos desde fitness hasta health en todos los sentidos. Vanessa tried one more time. Keister. Almost a whisper. Primera brought you lunch. Primera made dinner. Primera was trying. Primera noticed. Primera said. I also noticed the coffee dates that ran long. The wrong number calls that cut off when I walked in. The birthday gift 6 months early. That was nothing. You keep using that word, I said. It's never been less convincing. She tried one final pivot. What do you want from me? Tell me and I'll do it. Pack a bag, I said. You're staying elsewhere tonight. Hotels on your card. Essentials are covered. Luxuries aren't. You're throwing away years. You threw them first. I didn't do anything with him, she said, the words coming out fast and desperate now. We just talked. Sophie exhaled through her nose. Sharp. Don't embarrass yourself further. I nodded toward the hallway. 30 minutes. She tried to hold my gaze. I didn't blink. Eventually she moved. I heard drawers opening down the hall, louder than necessary, the only performance she had left. Sophie stood at the island with her arms crossed, breathing steady. You okay? She asked without looking at me. No, I said, and for the first time in months that word tasted clean. But I will be. Same, she said. While Vanessa packed, Sophie told me what had happened when she called Derek. He'd stumbled through the sequence, confused first, then admitted feelings, then pivoted to blame, then went quiet when she sent the photos through. He'd asked where he should go. She'd told him what she told me. Adults figure it out. Good line, I said. Not a line, she said. A boundary. Vanessa came back with a suitcase and a tote, hair loose now, voice stripped down. Where am I supposed to go? You're resourceful, I said. You'll figure it out. She looked at Sophie. Are you proud of this? Not even a little, Sophie said. I hate it, but I hate lies more. Vanessa looked at me one last time. Can we at least talk tomorrow? You'll get a list, I said. Not a conversation. Arrangements. Her lips pressed together. You're really done. I am. She dragged the suitcase to the door, stopped. You're cruel, she said. I'm decisive, I answered. You should try it. She left. Sophie stayed another hour. She didn't offer comfort, and I didn't need it. She sat at the table, and we talked through the next day's logistics the way two people talk when they've both agreed to stop pretending. She told me Vanessa would try soft first, then angry, then a big gesture. Same sequence Derek uses when he wants to buy back a mistake with theater. She was right on all 3 counts. The soft came the next morning. Long messages, memories, promises. A handwritten letter slid under my office door saying she'd do counseling twice a week. Change phones, emails, routines, everything. I put it in a folder and replied once. Send your availability to meet at the house with a third party to inventory. She wrote back. Please. I sent no. The anger came by afternoon. Short lines, pointed, trying to find a crack. I didn't reply. The big gesture arrived 2 days later. An envelope slid under my office door. Weekend trip tickets, a river cabin I'd mentioned once, guided hike, dinner reservation. Sticky note, let's fix this. I texted back, give them to your parents, I won't be there. Silence after that. The loud kind. The following week was the kind of administration that dismantles a life without drama. Lists, valuations, Calendar blocks. I met Vanessa at a storage unit with a third-party coordinator. She arrived in soft clothes and a voice designed to sell peace. "We don't have to be enemies," she said. "We're not," I told her. "We're done. There's a difference." She reached for my arm. I stepped back, pointed at the clipboard. "Start with the living room." She swallowed whatever she'd rehearsed and started sorting. We divided furniture, books, the art a client gave us the previous winter. When she reached for the framed photo from a trip we'd taken 2 years back, I shook my head. "That goes with me," I said. "Why? It's just a photo." "I paid for the trip," I said, "and I want the wall space." She looked at me the way you look at a person you no longer recognize. "You really changed." "No," I said. I finally matched my actions to what I already knew. The last time we were alone was at a bank, closing a secondary account. A young banker asked if we wanted to keep it open for joint expenses. We both said no at the same moment, the only thing we'd synchronized in months. Outside on the sidewalk, she stopped me. "I'm staying at my parents' place for a while," she said. "I need to figure out some things." "Okay, you don't care at all." "I care enough to stop pretending otherwise," I said. She breathed in like she might cry. Then she didn't. "I hope you meet someone and she does exactly this to you," she started. "Don't finish that," I said. "That's not who you were, even if it's who you chose to be." She held the words back. "Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Vanessa." I watched her walk to her car, not as a loss, just as the last frame of something that was already over. I drove back to the shop, unlocked the bay, and went to work. Work always makes sense. Recuerda que en la descripción y en el mensaje fijado tienes todos nuestros suplementos desde fitness hasta health and todos los sentidos. Word moves in every town, not details, just headlines. Mutual friends sent careful texts. A couple stopped asking about double dates. One guy in our group chat made a joke. I left it on read. Sophie and I kept a polite distance. She needed a plumber referral. I had a good one. I needed a bookkeeper. She sent me her old one. We didn't sit and debrief. We were each rebuilding something. We didn't need an audience for that. 2 months out, I signed a lease on a smaller place closer to the shop. Decent yard, garage big enough for my tools, no history in the walls. I bought a used pickup in better shape than the last one. I joined a basketball run at the community center on Wednesday nights. A friend introduced me to a woman named Claire at a Saturday cookout. Project manager, sharp and even-keeled. We got coffee the following week, tacos the week after. No rush, no calendar to chase. I go home at night and the quiet is the right kind. As for Vanessa, I hear things through the same network everyone drinks from. She moved back to her parents' place a few hours away. The job market wasn't friendly to gaps and complicated explanations, and her old team didn't return her calls. People don't close ranks around you when you gambled their trust. Nobody shunned her, they just stopped chasing her texts. That's what happens when the world stops performing with you. Sophie kept the house. Friends helped her repaint a room for her brother to use through the summer. He moved out in the fall and she turned it into a workspace. Derek sends emails she forwards to a folder she never opens. We ran into each other once at a hardware store. She smiled, a clean one, the real kind. "You look good," she said. "Same," I told her. "Holding up?" "I'm not holding," she said. "I'm moving." She glanced at the paint samples in my hand on her way out. "You're going to hate that shade. Go 2 tones warmer." I did. She was right. People always want the lesson at the end. There isn't one. There's a simple line. Respect is air. When someone withholds it while maintaining every other appearance, you don't negotiate the terms. You leave the building and breathe. I didn't make speeches. I didn't break anything. I signed forms, moved resources, and said no until the sentence ended. The last time Vanessa texted was a single line, weeks later. "Do you think we gave up too fast?" I looked at it for a minute, then I wrote back. "We didn't give up, we told the truth. It just didn't match." That was my last word. She didn't reply. The ending people expect has fireworks. It didn't. It had a key on a counter and a suitcase rolling down a hall. It had a bank teller asking if we wanted to keep a joint account open, and both of us saying no at the same time. It had me standing in my new garage on a Sunday morning, checking oil in a truck I bought with my own money, a game on the radio, in the clear sense that I was exactly where I said I'd be. She wanted a life that paid in shortcuts. She can have it wherever she landed. My door's closed. My calendar is full of things that fill me back up. And when I lock up at night, I don't wait for calls that end in acting. I flip off the lights and go to sleep knowing I kept the one promise that mattered. I didn't trade my self-respect for a seat at the wrong table. That's not bitterness. That's just good maintenance. The last thing I said to her, standing in our old kitchen while she reached for a fix that no longer existed, is the line I'll keep. You made your choice. I'm making mine. Pack a bag. If you made it this far, subscribe. It helps more than you know. I've picked 2 more stories I think you'll want to hear. They're waiting for you.